So I kind of wanted to leave tonight's call a little bit unstructured, but I want to talk about weight loss because a lot of people are in the Bet on You group, and that's a group that is put $20 on their bet, and they're going to lose 4% in 4 weeks. And so I really wanted to talk about weight loss in terms of weight loss, just weight loss, right? Not in a long-term sense, but in more of a short-term sense, and things that this group can kind of do to work on their weight loss. So my answers will be prefaced with more short term, I guess I would say, because sometimes you shouldn't be in weight loss. Sorry, I can't even talk right now. You shouldn't be in weight loss mode forever, right? You do have to do these in steps. If you eat in weight loss mode forever, then you're changing your metabolic rates to where you're kind of permanently staying at a lower calorie amount, and that's not necessarily great for your body. So we're going to talk about weight loss in spurts and the things you can do, like especially if you're just getting started and you want to kind of get things going so you can see some results right away. And I also want to just take time to talk about some myths. So depending on how far we get today, we can bleed this into next week too, because there's so many different myths out there with weight loss. And I'm sure, as we get into it, we can talk about those various things, and just want to kind of clear the air, clear things up so that it becomes, I guess, easier for everybody in the Bet on You group to get their money back, right? And to follow a plan that allows them to get to their goal. So let's start with weight loss myths. What's one, or weight loss rules, however you want to call it, because maybe you don't think it's a myth right now. So let's call it like a weight loss rule, something you've heard that you think is important for weight loss. And feel free to just shout it out and we can talk about different subjects.
What's it? I heard that if you eat less of your carbs, not carbs, calories, and do more exercise, that works?
So weight loss occurs when you have a calorie deficit, right? So when your calories in are less than your calories out. Now, there's a lot of things that contribute to how you feel during that time, and how big that deficit is. There is such a thing as having too big of a deficit, and then you're creating more stress for your body. So then your body doesn't do the things exactly like you want it to do. But the main rule is that weight loss happens when you're in a calorie deficit. But you do need to be taking in less than is going out for weight loss.
What do you mean by stress the body if you take in less?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that put stress on the body, right? So exercise is a body stressor. It certainly can be, depending on what type of exercise you do. So that's why overtraining is a thing, right? That's why, you have recovery days. That's why you may have deload weeks. When you create stress for yourself, so if your body is feeling like it's not getting enough fuel, it's concerned about where its fuel is coming from, then it's going to feel more stressed out. It might hang on to some things. You might have some inflammation, water retention. It's going to act differently than if you're supplying it with what it wants on a regular basis. Consistency is super important with nutrition because our cells turn over all the time. So it's not like you have this, you ate vitamin D 2 weeks ago and you got some great cells from it, and those cells are still around today, right? Our body is constantly, regenerating itself, making new things, and it needs to have these things all the time to work at its optimal level. You want to consistently good at nutrition. So having your vegetables last month doesn't really help you this month, right? It needs to be a daily effort, a more constant thing. Same with exercise, right? I mean, if you exercised last month, that doesn't necessarily help you this month. You have to keep these things consistent so that your body's constantly getting what it needs. So, and a lot of the stress hormone that a lot of people talk about is cortisol. So that is something that occurs a lot in your normal fight or flight when you have stress, I actually listened to this great podcast, which I'd highly, we've talked about the Model Health Show on here before, podcast, and he just interviewed the author of the book called Fiber Filled, which is the book that Autumn's using to create the gut protocol. Or I don't know if she's, I don't know, I don't want to say she's fully using that book, but that is how this all came to be. She followed.
What is it called? Yeah.
Protocol. It's called Fiber Filled. It's Dr. William, no, let me look him up. Maybe it started with a B. Fiber Filled is the book, and the podcast is the Model Health Show. He just interviewed him on January 11th. And in this is a doctor of guts, gastrologist. That doesn't seem like enough like terms in there. Seems like there should be some more letters. I can't remember the exact makeup of that doctorology. That sounds really awful. But so he is a doctor of guts, and through his practice was seeing a lot of correlation where nutrition needed to come in with the gut biome. And so he then did a lot of his own research with nutrition and with his clients, and then has created this book. And he's also actually coming out with a cookbook in May. So that's like, and it technically is like a gut protocol. We're going to have access. We're going to have our own gut protocol in March. And so in, now I've lost where I was going with all that, because it's cortisol. I can't remember why I brought him up now, because he was, so they were talking, they went through the whole thing today, but basically cortisol doesn't help your biome develop very well. So you need your microbiome to create these good bacteria to then help process the food so that your body absorbs the nutrients. That's what the gut health is all about. You absorbing nutrients at an optimal level, you getting the most from the food you're taking in. And if you're not feeding these the bacteria, then they're not surviving. So then you have bacteria that aren't beneficial to you. So through all this though, it's, oh, that's where I'm gonna go. So the stress thing is, we are in this day and age, we are in a more constant, subtle stress. So like, let's say our ancestors 100 years ago, you know, if you had to hunt for something and a mountain lion is going to attack you, right? You've got a quick fight or flight. So you got a quick stress, but most of the time you didn't have this underlying stress all the time. So right now we live in a society where we have a lot of stressors, right? Maybe your job, your kids, your marriage, whatever it is, your life. And so that is an underlying constant stressor that is new to humanity in the last 50 years. And it's showing up in our microbiome, that our microbiome isn't doing as well, because when you have stress and you have this cortisol, your biome doesn't survive as well. That makes sense. That's a lot of detail for one question, but you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where there's so many factors that go in. So like we talk about, and that's what Rochelle brought up, sleep. That's another thing, right? If you're not getting enough sleep, that's a stressor on your body. Your body hasn't had a chance to recover and replenish what it needs, repair. That's when your body does a lot of muscle repair, like especially from your workout. So if you're not sleeping as well, you're not repairing as well. That's why we have recharge. That is a protein that goes in at night to help your body repair, and then, you know, start out in the morning with a much better set of nutrients in the muscle. So all those things go in, and the key really is that you're working to live your best life all the way around. That's the most healthful way of things. And so like, that's why we brought in, like the Beachbody has brought in meditation, relaxation. You're going to see a new program coming in a couple months called Fire and Flow. It's all about working out hard for 3 days, and then you have flow for 3 days where you're more mindful, you're taking in that yoga, you're recovering, you're taking care of your body, because there is this give and take, and it shows up in your weight loss. if your body does not, if it's stressed, if it feels like something is going to go wrong, it's got to be prepared for something, it is not going to act in the way you want it to act when you're trying to lose weight. So let's go to, yeah, does that answer the stress question, Kathy?
Yeah.
We good? I feel
Yeah.
like I could just ramble on forever. So somebody start with another topic. Lily, are you talking to us? Oh,
You're mu-
Totally muted.
I'm like, what? Yeah, what?
Carbs make you fat, and so does fat.
Carbs make you fat and fat, right? So really, if you're a veg or a vegan, you're pretty much on carbs, and I mean that's the main makeup of fruits and vegetables. So the myth is no, it is a myth, right? It is the overall calories. Now there is something to be said about the type of calories you get in. If you have a 1,500 calorie diet and you're eating Cheetos for every meal, you're not going to feel very well. You may let's take that McDonald's, I can't remember what it was called, where he ate McDonald's for 30 days and he still lost weight. He was in a
Yeah.
calorie deficit, right? I mean, you can still lose weight eating crap.
Supersize me.
You're gonna
Yeah,
feel
super
like crap,
fat.
and you have no energy.
Energy, yeah. And is your body getting a chance to get what it needs to feel satisfied too? So it really is best to have a well-rounded meal plan. And it's best to have carbs that are complex because that helps keep you full longer. Like this fiber-filled book is all about how Americans do not get enough fiber and how it's showing up in so many other ways in health issues. So if that's something you like are interested in, I highly recommend that book. It's just because he really goes into the detail about, why fiber is so important for our body. And you see that in various programs like our Portion Fix and in 2B Mindset and Ultimate Reset. All those foods are whole foods, fiber filled foods. And there's a reason. That's what helps you feel your best.
What was the author again?
Look, I was going to look him up. Let me.
Because I found one
Yeah.
and he has like a kiwi in the front.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
That's
His
it.
name
Okay.
is Will Balsi.
Something.
Yeah. A
Balsi
lot of
something.
letters and not a lot of not a lot of vowels there. I don't know.
Spell it. Can you spell it, Deanna?
It's BULSIEWICZ.
Oh my God.
And the here, I'll see if you can see this. The
I'll send it in the
fiber-filled book.
chat,
Oh, this is the cookbook. Let me find the fiber-filled book. If he has a picture of that somewhere. But it probably looks similar. My guess is it's going to look similar here to the cookbook. But so Fiber Fueled is the name of the book.
Oh, fueled, not filled.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I was probably saying filled. Fiber Fueled. Sorry. Or Fiber Filled, I think, is the book, and the cookbook is Fiber Fueled.
Oh,
I think
okay.
there's two. Sorry, Kathy.
Okay.
So what are the things you hear? Like, I know one that drives me crazy is everybody thinks they should be on 1,200 calories. Oh, you're muted again, Lily.
I'm muted again. Yep. You touched on a little bit. Calorie is a calorie. There's sugar is a sugar.
Right.
There are differences between those. Two things.
Yeah, so let's talk about fructose. So it was kind of interesting today. Someone brought up a yogurt brand and I was like, oh, I haven't really looked at that label. So I want to go in and look at it. And in that label, it had fructose as a sweetener. Well, fructose outside of a fruit or a vegetable is different than inside the fruit and vegetable. First of all, the fructose that comes in that fruit or vegetable also comes with fiber. right? It comes with the things that slow it down and when it gets into your system. So it's not a huge glycemic index hit. It's not a sugar rush. Whereas a high fructose corn syrup, that's where you get the sugar hit, the rush, because it is just the sugar. There's nothing with it. There's nothing to slow it down when it gets into your system. It's just there, right? So that's why, if you look at glycemic index things, so the fructose is one example because people think also on the other spectrum that having fruit and sugar, like the sugar in fruit, is also bad. But because you're eating a whole fruit with the fiber, with the water, with the nutrients, it is just fine. Nobody is getting fat off eating fruit. I mean, it's just not happening, right? It's all the other things that you're adding in with it that you like, it's eating these outside extra added sugars. I can't remember, I think we looked up cauliflower in one of our calls on here because we were all surprised at like how much sugar cauliflower naturally has in it. Had no idea, but it does. I want to say it was like 3 grams or something. It was a decent amount for something that doesn't taste sweet.
Yeah, it was a lot more than we thought.
Yeah. But that's just part of nature, and that's okay. Our body understands that. It knows how to use it. Now that's where you also come into juicing. Juicing takes away the fiber that slows down the sugar rush. So when you're juicing, if you're taking just the juice without any of the fiber, without the rest of the plant, then that isn't as great, right? That is like having a soda or like having something that's sugar filled. You might get a few more nutrients. You might get, some more vitamin C, some other things in there, but it's still going to be kind of a rush for everything.
So that's more of a concentrated sugar when you juice it.
It is, yeah. And it's because it's taken out the fiber and you've probably added more in, right? Like you don't just, if you're juicing an apple, you probably juice like 2 or 3, right? So you're getting all the sugar content from multiple fruits, but had you eaten the fruit whole, you probably wouldn't be able to eat that much fruit. Does that make sense? Because you're putting a bunch through, or carrots, or what, I mean, there's a lot of sugar in carrots too. Which is fine when you're eating it whole. Plus you're getting the water content. You're getting, sometimes mineral nutrients are extracted in the juicing process, so you may not be getting as much. So yeah.
So I just looked cauliflower up and it's 0.3 grams of fat per serving, 2 grams of protein, 5 carbs, 2 sugars, and 2 dietary fiber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know cauliflower had sugar, but it does. And it's totally okay.
Okay, what about the thing of if you're going to eat carbs, eat them earlier in the day, eat them at breakfast and lunch, but don't eat them at dinner or later? Is that
That's
true?
an energy thing. And so it's not necessarily a weight loss. It's eating things. It's eating things when your body will most likely use them.
Right.
So it can help then with cravings because your body's using it up. Your body wants it. It wants fuel. Now, if you're having extra carbs after dinner, right, that's a different story. But like Alana's plan is set up carb heavy in the morning. You go to a smaller amount of carbs at lunch and then fewer carbs, the least amount of carbs at dinner. And that is, and Time Nutrition is set up the same way. You're getting more carbs kind of in through your day. That's when your fruits are happening around your workouts. And then you're lessening it as you get through the day. And that's just because that's when your body can use it the most. So you feel best, if that makes sense.
With the Portion Fix, do they give you any guidelines of when to eat what?
Yeah, so there's a whole set on Time Nutrition in 80-Day Obsession. So if you were in the 80-Day Obsession program, well, depending on what you have, so we have several different pathways now. So if you just have Beachbody On Demand, you have access to basic plans in the 21-Day Fix and in 80-Day Obsession, which are going to include Foundation Fix, which is eating your containers whenever you want, or Time Nutrition, where Autumn says, eat this before your workout, eat this after your workout, eat these 3 meals after that. It's much more specific. And then you have, if you've purchased a challenge or a total solution pack and or have body, you will have access to the whole video program plus extra videos on body that talk about certain scenarios. Like I just sent a video to one of my customers who wanted to know about eating out. She has body, so I showed her where to find that body video on eating out that Autumn put out. So there's specific cases, scenarios, and a lot of stuff that we will talk on here because it's on body and it's, you know, good to have discussion about. But yeah, there's all kinds of specific things on there to help guide you through the program.
Right, so if I just have the 21-day fix, portion fix, you're saying that's foundation where you can do the
Yes.
containers whenever you want. What do you suggest, since you know more than I do?
Well, you know, honestly, it's a personality thing. Like when I was on 80-day obsession, I did time nutrition and it was fantastic, but I was so mentally in the game of like doing the program completely the way she laid it out. It was the first time going through. And now I think I'd have a harder time following time nutrition because I'm used to eating things more loosely, you know, when I want them, matching up with my family, that kind of stuff. So it really kind of depends on where you're at, because time nutrition, I felt my best on because you're having a meal every 2 hours basically, and you feel really good. But you have to be really prepped with food to make it happen well. Like you just need to be prepared. You need to have things on hand. You need to it's kind of like the same thing with Ultimate Reset. You have a set menu plan. So you really have to know, okay, am I prepared for the next day? Do I have everything I need? Because if you get caught off guard and you can't get to a store, then the subs you have may not be as good. Yeah.
All right, but if you're doing just the regular portion fix, how do you space them?
So yeah, I'll send you a thing. I'll send you a sheet that shows the containers.
Because they tell
Like,
you how many containers to use, but
well,
really
yeah,
not
that's
when to
all
use
those
them.
calculations. Yeah, so you have the container calculations in the guide, right? And I think you've
Yeah.
seen that before. So
Yeah.
then I don't know if the original DVD format has the layout, but there is a layout where she gives kind of like a sample of how you would lay out the containers. Her goal is always with Portion Fix to have a mix of macros. So you would have a green, red, yellow for just about every meal. You would mix in some purples, you'd mix in some blues, you'd mix in some orange containers, depending on what you were eating. But you're really kind of staying that red, green, yellow, you know, as you're going through.
And is she basing it on 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals, 6 meals?
So yeah, Foundation Fix is, I would say, anywhere between 4 and 6. And then the Time Nutrition is 5 or 6.
Okay.
Just depends on snacking and.
Yeah, and now we have intermittent fasting, which she locks them all into three meals. If you're following IF. So
Okay.
there's just a lot of it. Really, you just kind of have to figure out a pattern. Like I'm a 4-meal person. I find I just kind of keep going back to that in different scenarios where, you know, it's breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner kind of thing.
So do you not eat after dinner?
I sometimes have some chocolate. I don't have any chocolate bars right now. I need to go to the store.
My husband bought me a whole bunch for Christmas, and he lets me have one every night.
Is that still going well for you, Kathy? I remember we talked about it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Good. Good.
What I've been craving is Kim's peanut butter.
Oh, yeah. So I have that gingerbread peanut butter. That stuff is so good. I made the 3-ingredient cookies that I sent Kim the recipe, and it uses coconut sugar and egg and then just the peanut butter. So you make these little cookies out of that, and it's so delicious.
Where do you get it, Deanna?
Well, it's a Portland company, but I don't know if they're widely distributed or not. Kim, can you get it in your store?
Try to come visit
Yeah,
us.
it was in my Safeway. It was.
Oh,
in
it
my
was? Oh, good. So apparently they're in a bunch of stores now.
And I made those same cookies, but I made it with the chocolate coconut peanut butter and that was
Oh, that'd be good. How was the sugar cookie? Because I was thinking of getting it.
my favorite. That was my
Okay.
favorite.
Okay, I need to try it.
Sugar
I mean,
cookie,
not
peanut
that
butter?
they're all gone or anything, but
Right?
didn't
I
all
stick
go.
mine in my freezer right away. I stick them in the freezer and then I don't see them. And then if I really need something, I just grab one out of the freezer. So what else? Maybe should we talk about? Well, let's see what other myths we have first. What else do you think? Or things you hear that you wonder if it's helpful or not helpful?
I've seen that you're not supposed to drink with your meal because it impedes digestion. Is that
Yeah,
right?
so I learned that on the reset, actually. They have you drink 30 minutes ahead and they have you drink a full glass of water. Not only is that it helps prime digestion, having the hydration ready, but it is true that when if you're drinking a lot of water while you're like during your meal, it can dilute things. So you also may not absorb as many nutrients and it can just, I wouldn't say it hinders it, but it can change it in a way that it's not as beneficial.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily want to have like have some sips or whatever, right? But if you're really thirsty, have that water while you're cooking dinner. I love to like make sure I have either a jug of water or I love the Spindrift seltzers to have while I'm cooking. Those are not very hydrating, FYI, but you know what I mean? To have something to drink while you're cooking. And then to me, it feels like a little mocktail because then I got a little seltzer, it's got a little flavor.
Put a lemon in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I also read that it also drinking a lot of water with your meal dilutes your digestive enzymes too. So that doesn't.
Right. Yeah, I think that's where it comes in, where you may not be able to absorb as much and it may not break it down as well. Yeah.
What about, I kind of just Googled some stuff, but white potatoes are unhealthy as a myth?
Yeah, it is. They're nutritious. The skin has vitamin E, and they're like right about the middle of the food list. So they're going to be more nutritious. So just in case nobody, you don't know, our food lists are listed in order of nutrition. So the best, most nutritious foods are going to be at the top of the list. So that's a huge tip for weight loss and following this plan, that if you're following those top 1/3 foods, you're going to have a much more successful, run with Portion Fix and with To Be Mindset. I haven't even looked at those food lists lately, but it's the same setup. They're going to put the most nutritious things on top. And so white potatoes are kind of in the middle. They do have, they're actually great for a refeed. So if I know you did 80-day obsession and there's refeed in there because you're eating so clean, you want to add in some of that kind of stuff once in a while to refuel your body.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as good as a sweet potato, for a daily use, but it's also not, it doesn't need to be demonized either. It's not like something lower on the list. I'm trying to think of something low on the list. Bread, pasta, things like that.
Don't take away my pasta.
Right. So let's talk about best practices for losing weight during the next 4 weeks, for like things that are really helpful in losing weight. So as I mentioned, if you're following Portion Fix, if you're following To Be Mindset, really eating at the top of the list, eating the most nutritious foods in each container, that is not only going to help you have better nutrition, but in turn, that means that you will likely crave less. You're having more whole foods. Your body's getting more of what it needs. I mean, how many times have you had some chips and you're like, that didn't even do anything for me. Like, I still want more of something, right? Because there's nothing to them. So having that whole nutrition really helps in your cravings. And that was, I have never had it more evident than it was in Ultimate Reset. Like I've said this, I don't know, hundreds of times probably by now, but like my cravings were just so little during that. And you were just getting absolutely everything you needed. Sue can attest to it. Her cravings were down to nothing too. She didn't have any M&Ms during her ultimate reset.
I still haven't had any.
That's amazing. Seriously?
I haven't had any M&Ms now.
Man. Okay, we should have like a
Wait,
t-shirt or
so
something
Paula,
celebrating that.
You finished right before Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, I had
Wow.
cookies, I had cookies and that kind of stuff, but I mean, I really haven't had any cravings.
I know, but
Yeah.
M&Ms are your thing.
M&Ms
though, and
were
you
Sue's
always do
jam.
Christmas.
Yeah. It's
That's
kind of like how
awesome.
Kim feels about peanut butter.
Yeah, exactly. My love for M&Ms is like Kim's love for peanut butter. So sorry I'm late, you guys.
No worries.
It's super dark
my
in here.
love
I
for
just got home.
Dried mango.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a way that, so you think of it in terms of, because I know it can be a little hard being like, sometimes you feel mentally like you're missing stuff, right? Like, oh, I don't get to have that. But you really have to think of it in terms of, let's see how great I can feel if I do these things. If I follow this food list, if I eat these things, let's just see what happens. Maybe Deanna's crazy. And after the 4 weeks, I don't feel any different and I still want my M&Ms or whatever, right? But I think it's good to go into it just kind of diving all in and saying, let's just see how I do on this nutrition plan and not feel like I'm going to miss anything. Feel like I'm saying yes to this. And if I want to do something different after it's done, I'll do something different. But let's go all in and see how it feels. I think when you have that kind of mindset on things, you're much more apt to stay on the plan. Really give it a chance, try some new things. That's the other thing. You really want diversity in your food. You don't want to be eating the same things. You want to have diversity so that you can feel like you're getting lots of variety and things are exciting. So yeah. So Bev and Sue, before you guys jump down, we're starting in to talk about the like best practices for the next 4 weeks that people can, for this bet on you, so that people, can really do well during this plan. And I forgot to say one thing about that. I'll have you guys jump in anywhere if you want to add some stuff. But one thing that's really important to note, like if you're going into this bet on you, if you're going into any challenge and your goal is weight loss, if you're more focused on your workouts than your nutrition, you're probably going to be a little disappointed. Nutrition is the key in solving the weight loss. So if you have to miss the workout over the nutrition, if weight loss is really your thing. Okay. And I know that can feel a little tough love-ish, because I know we're, this is a fitness company, but we also have so many amazing nutrition plans that need to be followed. But I think people think I'll just add on another workout, or I'll just, I'll work it off. I'm going to have this, but I'm working out now, so it's fine. But that's not really how it works. You really have to dial in the nutrition and get really good at your nutrition. And I hope when I say that, you don't feel like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. Because it's really no more work than getting your workout done. Or, it's just following a plan. And as you get into it, as you do it more, you feel better doing it. You understand it more. You understand yourself more. And you keep some things in that you need to have in. And you figure out the other things that you don't have to have in. You add the vegetables to your plate. You drink the water. You do the things. And it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, if somebody had asked me, like even 4 years ago, if I'd eat vegan, I'd be like, you're crazy. But like, I think I can do it right now. Like it's really shocking to me. How much my palate changed, and I'm not saying you have to go vegan to lose weight. I'm just saying, give yourself a chance to eat things that are on the plan, to follow the plan. Give yourself a chance to really adjust to it and see how it is. Because the best thing about all of our plans is they're all whole food based. Like they're real nutrition. There's science behind it. It is like, it is the standard. And with all of my other certifications in other companies, this is still the standard. Like, this is how they all say to do things. It's an agreed upon, it's not a fad. It's not like, cabbage soup diet. It is all, real nutrition grounded in science and to help you live your best life.
Yeah, I'll kind of add to that. I never dreamed that I would be the person that didn't eat meat. Because I loved burgers, I love steak, I love chicken, all of the above. And the only meat, if you will, that I eat now is fish. So I never thought I would be that person, but I feel great because of it. So
Yes, I know. It's like today I had the Southwest rice and beans, and I'm like, it just sounds so delicious. Like, why wouldn't I eat it? Like, it sounds so good. And, I think I kind of hung myself up on different things. And that's the other major piece to weight loss is you're only going to get as far as your brain lets you go. Because if you're not willing to change how your food looks, change how your lifestyle looks a little bit, then things won't change, right? We've all heard that saying, something has to change for you to change. And so, I'm just being open to kind of diving into this and, trusting a plan. I know can be hard because especially if you've used other plans in the past and you feel like they didn't work, having something based on real nutritious foods is always a good plan, right? Whether or not you're actually putting them in the container or not, eating real foods, not eating processed foods, not eating out all the time, eating real foods that you've created is always a good plan. So let's talk about like, what would you say some of the coaches on here, like your best tips, what would you say like helped you in a weight loss mode or like kind of a best practice for people on the Bet on You? Oh, Lily, you're off again.
I'm working on it. I would say my number one tip is you bring it into the house, you can eat it. If you don't bring it into the house, you can't eat it.
Yes. So if there's something you can't resist, don't buy it.
I have no peanut butter in the house right now.
There you go, Kim.
But my best tip would be to go to your meal prep, that free meal prep class, honestly, because that's really helping me make a lasting change. Because every time I go to that, I have a nice set of meals, and then I want to do it again. So I'm doing it on my own, and that's made a difference.
I totally agree. And I'm the one who runs it. And I still feel like it teaches me something each time. And I'm like, why don't I do this every week where I'm fully prepped like this? Right. So yeah. And there's all the meal prep replays are there's the January one in all of our bod groups. If you were part of the other Facebook group, they're all in there, but they're also on my YouTube channel and they're all public. So, if you want to go through something that's set up already, instead of having to think about it, just go through one of those meal prep classes and you'll be set with 3 meals, sometimes 4.
I think we would all agree that the more prepared we are during the week, the better we stick to a plan, whatever plan that is. And I know right now I'm kind of freaking about tomorrow because I've been gone for a couple of days and I'm thinking, what am I going to eat for breakfast tomorrow? That's kind of in my plan. It may just be an apple.
Right.
3 cups of an apple or something.
Give some oatmeal. You could do the apple oatmeal.
Exactly. But so having a plan and, so you veer off it a little bit, but at least you have a plan. And I think for me, that's where I stay on track the most and the easiest.
100%. Yep. I do too. If there's food that needs to be eaten in my refrigerator, I will eat that over, grabbing some junk or grabbing something else or, so like having something available.
I think for me, it's always looking ahead at what my week and even month looks like. I'm very real that I'm not going to expect that I'm going to go over to a friend's house for a game night and not go over on my containers in reality. I'm just being honest, but I will do my best to I prepare myself. I look at that as like, okay, I'm not going to be concerned about containers. You know, when I go there, the rest of the week, I am going to do what I do, like, you know, eat my regular meals. The day of, I will eat everything that I normally eat. I always get my shake in. That is a non-negotiable and has been for over 11 years. And I can count on one hand how many times I've missed my shake. And it was more likely because I just couldn't keep the shake down.
Right?
So, but yeah, so I look ahead and I plan for, okay, I'm going to be doing this. And then when I'm there, I do my best to not graze and to pick veggies and kind of overdo on veggies if I'm going to overdo. But I'm not going to the dessert and not have the cocktail, but I'm going to keep my water going the entire time, because no matter what, it will help to reduce how much stuff I do end up consuming, whether that be alcohol or processed foods or what have you. But then I won't feel as bad the next day. Because
Right, and you mean physically, not mentally, because you've already prepared for the party. Yeah, physically you won't feel as bad. Yeah.
I won't physically feel as bad. I won't feel like I'm super dehydrated or, you know, moody and whatever else might come along with consuming those foods or drinking the alcohol.
Right.
So
It
that's
looks like you're prepping a lot of chicken there right now.
Yeah, what are you making, Bev?
making, so you know, the stir fry,
Yeah.
the ultimate reset veggie stir fry.
Yes.
That's what I'm making. And I cook chicken separately and then we add that. I cook it separately so that I can literally containerize the veggies,
Nice.
get my portion of the chicken, and add different.
Oh, you're cutting out on us a little bit.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. We can only get a few bits.
So funny, I was prepping the zucchini cashew soup for tomorrow.
Oh, I love that stuff. I need to make it again.
Can I get on the computer?
And so one thing too, after what Bev talked about, you know, when you have an event coming up, or even if you had a night where it was unplanned and you went over, the best thing you can do for yourself is move on, because you can't change it. You can't go back and take any of those calories back. You can't, you know, scoop it back up or whatever. So move on from it and know that the next meal is a great meal, right? The next meal you can affect change. And that's where so many people will be like, wow, F it, you know, now I'm done. Just ruined the week. But you didn't, you just ruined one meal or one day. And even in this 4-week, even in the 4-week plan, you know, I mean, one day is not gonna like make or break it. It's just not. So make sure you're kind of getting into that mindset of things may not be as good as I think I should be doing right now, but I'm doing better than I was, and I can keep going and I can keep getting better and I can keep practicing, because really, I mean, I've just been practicing for the last, I don't know, 7-10 years. Okay, I'm going to move my dog out of here.
Your dog keeps making mine bark.
Oh, my husband's going to come get him. You're going in.
Yeah, I mean, just not even making it be wrong or right. Enjoy the moment. And if you, just because you ate something that you feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't have eaten that, move on to the next meal. You don't even have to wait to the next day to choose to eat back what you had planned or whatever. But yes, planning ahead is my biggest thing. So, and yeah, the stir fry I make every week pretty much. My family So we make it every week, at least one night. Well, I say not at least, we just do it one night.
I love it. That combo is so good. Like that's how I make my veggies most of the time, no matter what I'm eating now, it seems like. And if anybody cares to know, if you have BOD, the Ultimate Reset recipes are all on there. So if you want to try anything we talk about, feel free. They're all in there. They're just in the program materials.
Mm-hmm.
I would say also if you're going to go and eat a bag of chips and then you have the mindset of, okay, I ate them, move on, have lots of water the rest of the night. The next morning, you're going to feel so much better when you wake up and you get your workout done versus if you just like, oh, I ate a bag of chips, so I might as well eat everything else in my refrigerator and all the candy and everything. You're going to feel horrible the next day. But by making better choices after you pigged out or overate, whatever, you're going to feel better about yourself if you can. It's just a mindset shift.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting over the guilt and the shame that you're creating for yourself because there's really no need for it to be there. You know, I mean, it doesn't help anybody in the situation, and really just releasing it and moving forward.
Yes.
Is key. But also, I will say this too, also take a note, right? Like, why did I just do that? What was the scenario? What either triggered me to want to take a, like, as if you're a third party looking in, you know, your best friend observing, what was the situation where I felt out of control right now? How did that happen? What could I do to help it in the future? That was the other thing that he talked a lot about on this podcast, is that so many people's biomes are also affected by past trauma that they have not worked through. So like their biomes aren't as substantial, good as they could be, because they have this low grade stressor, right? That's always there and always affecting them with things. And it really, you know, there's a reason where we are. So if there's things you're going to have to work through, that might be the key to your weight loss. You know what I mean? That might be why you're at a standstill, or you've lost a certain amount, but you can't lose anymore. It really is a whole body, whole mind thing, because our outside is reflecting in a lot of ways what's going on, how we're feeling, what's happening. All right. So what else we got? What other weight loss things do you think either people should know, do? How you going to win the money this month? And now the neighbor's dogs are barking. No, I'm just kidding.
I would say meal prep is a huge one. When you have something healthy to grab in the fridge that's already made up, you're going to be less likely to grab the junk.
Yeah. And if you've never done it, yeah, start with like one meal, start with one thing. If you've never done it, don't make it like a 7 days worth. Feel like you have to do that. Start with one meal, start with just dinners or breakfast is easy to make for like a 5-day period. And a lot of us eat the same breakfast most mornings anyway. So, you know, do something that helps you.
Yeah, the egg cups are super easy to make, and you can put pretty much anything in them and they're good. So
yeah, and those zucchini
they last.
quinoa cups, I thought those were great for breakfast too. And those are
fantastic.
green, red, yellow.
Yeah, those are really good.
I like those better than the egg cups. I forgot the zucchini in mine, but I still liked them better.
They're super delicious. Yeah.
I like the texture better than the straight egg cups for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. Any other parting thoughts? We're already almost at 6 o'clock.
Boy, I'm so sad. I wish I was here on time. I only get to spend a little time with you guys tonight.
I know. And next week, I have a PTO meeting after this, so I'll have to cut out at 5:45.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have a 45-minute call next week. But Yeah, I think what we'll do too is maybe we'll continue the conversation depending on, I'm gonna poll some of my participants too to see what some of them are struggling with, or what we can do. And then we can talk about some specific situations. Because anything that will help everybody through this 4 week. Because I think if you come out of this 4 weeks feeling pretty good about where you're at, you want to continue. And I think that's an important thing, especially if weight loss is really your, that's your main goal, and you're like that's what you're attaching to. You want to see that scale go down so that you continue to create those healthy habits.
Oh, that's true. That's great to focus on that during this group. That'd be awesome. We could do, share struggles and successes and
Yeah.
questions like you always do. And what you did tonight was awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. So one of my struggles, just so you can start thinking about it from now till next week, is I always self-sabotage. Okay. So, hey, I'm feeling great. I just lost some weight. Why can't I eat that right now? Because,
Yeah.
I'm okay. Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like 90% of people, right? Like,
Yes.
hey,
yes.
scale went down. I can
Mhm.
have that cookie.
I can eat that cookie.
I'm
So
feeling
maybe
pretty
that's
good.
something that we could talk about next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's one of those mindset shifts that's a little tricky, right?
Mhm.
Because it's hard to know what you're like, why you're thinking you shouldn't just continue on. Right? It's hard to know which piece of things is the like why you're sabotaging.
Right.
Yeah. And I've been listening to my High Five Habit, right? And that's when, and
Love that.
yeah, it's such a good book. So if you haven't read it yet, that's also another great mindset, just to just start encouraging yourself to not stay in a negative place, or even just a blah place, right? Like just a stagnant place. And it's as simple as high-fiving yourself in the morning in the mirror to be like, go get him, Tiger. You got this. It's so small, yet when you do it, significant. So that will be my book recommendation for today.
Yeah, that was fabulous. I just read it not too long ago as well.
I'm right in the middle of it right now. So yeah,
Are you reading or are you listening?
I'm listening. I'm
Okay,
a
me
listener,
too.
not a reader. Yeah.
So I don't know what it would be like to read it, but to listen to her, I mean, she's fantastic.
Yeah, I love listening to her. Yeah.
Just hands down. I mean, she definitely made, like her reading it and listening to it made that book. So
Yeah. I think same with Jen Sincero too.
Mhm.
And You Are a Badass. Like listening to her read the book is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm almost done with that. That was my next one that I did.
But I will say Darren O'Lean's book where the dude reads it, and I'm like, this is so dry and boring. I'm like, I'd rather listen to Darren, but then I heard like Darren didn't want to read it or something because I don't know. But I'm like, I'd rather listen to Darren. So, yeah.
Okay, so am I late to the party? And does everybody else know that the Job One hybrid stuff is up?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, so I'm
because
not late to the party.
Well, it
It's
makes
because
sense.
It launched in
because-
France. It's because
Yeah.
it launched in France. The it's the 14th in France right now. That's why.
Really?
Who's gonna go do another workout now?
Like,
We're all on
really?
French time.
Oh, yes. So cool. I thought I was late to the
That
party.
is
and I was the only
awesome.
one that knew it wasn't up.
Now, Sue, I would say fine, because that used to be me. Like I would totally, I can totally have this cookie. I can have an extra glass of wine, whatever it was. Cause I'm, down half a pound or down a pound or whatever. But usually that just, totally backfired until I found that I liked shopping for clothes. And so I've tried to replace my, kind of like giving myself a pat on the back with, a shirt or some leggings or something like that instead of food. I tried to change my rewards.
Yeah. Did you order those snake leggings? Did we all get them?
So which ones?
They're yes.
Are they still in
they're
your
coming.
shopping cart? Oh, I ordered them.
Wait,
coming.
what'd you get?
So their colorful koala has these leather look I think they were called Python print or something, weren't they?
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
did I just
something
get
like
a
that.
pair?
Yeah, I'll send you,
I
I'll
don't
send you,
know what's.
Yeah,
No, I'm
you
not
should
sure
probably
I
get a pair.
use
I'll
this.
send you a link.
Send me the link. I just got home. I had like 8 boxes on the front porch.
I love it. You know, and
No,
I
they're-
think part of that too, Sue, is when you, like, you've done the ultimate reset, you followed the plan, right? It was a finite amount of time. And I think you're also mentally telling yourself, what if I don't have this right now? What if I just keep going? What
Yeah.
happens if I keep going? Because
Right.
you can follow a plan, and I think it's in those times where we're not on, like on a more strict plan, that we kind of let it come in and out and it'll be fine and it's not a big deal. But like lately I'm finding myself saying like, why have it? How does it benefit me? Right? Like, do I really need it? Or maybe I'll just have something that's, a little better or on plan, or maybe I should have eaten more for dinner, or you know what I mean? Kind of solving it in a different way. It's kind of like stopping and starting your workouts, right? When you first started working out, you probably took a few more breaks and you're like, that's fine, I'll do it. I'll start again Monday, or, and now that you're like so used to it's a daily thing, it feels weird to not do it. But there was a whole time period in there where you probably stopped and started. And then you started stopping less and less and less, and then you just never stopped. So it'll take a little practice.
Yeah.
The other thing I just thought of, oh my gosh, it just totally went out my brain.
I've had that happen so many times tonight.
Oh, shenanigans. Oh, I know.
Oh,
Respect your struggle spots. And what I mean by that is, if you're a type of person who likes to have dessert, respect and honor that, and know that that is your place where you will struggle, and prepare yourself for it by eating what you need to eat throughout the day so that you're not as hungry in the evening, and give yourself an option that will fit.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
so-
that's so good.
I struggled. So I grew up eating dessert, like almost after every meal, or not every meal, but every dinner. And so I would end up having like a second shake. And initially that like tried to break the bank, because I started living practically hard when I started this business. So, I mean, it was not in the budget by any means for me to have a second shake. And then all the rest of my family started drinking shakes. So it just needed to come up with other things. So like I started doing like Greek yogurt, and I would get the sweet leaf stevia drops that were like the extract that had flavor. Like, so I would get the chocolate ones or the toffee ones, and I would save a red in my day so that I could have that. And I would put, just enough of those drops in so that I could, so that it was sweet enough and flavored enough. And then, yeah, I would have that, or like I would save a teaspoon so I could add like a teaspoon of peanut butter. And I respected that was going to occur. And I didn't make myself wrong about it, even though we're supposed to be done after dinner. I didn't
Well,
care.
yeah. And that's kind of a myth though, too, right? Because your total calories are the most important piece.
Right.
But I love what you're saying about that, because it's so true. Like, why try to like totally cold turkey something that you're enjoying and a part of? Just make it fit, make it better so that it fits with what you're doing, and that you still feel satisfied, because otherwise you're just not going to continue.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, this doesn't work, or you're going to binge, or you're going to, whatever it is, however you sabotage it, it
Mhm.
won't work.
Yeah. And I think that's why my shake is now an afternoon thing for me, is because it helps me, because I used to want to have like a snack in the afternoon. Well, this fills that, and also helps me to not snack while I'm making dinner.
Mm,
So it helps with that too.
yeah.
find where you struggle the most and honor that. And by honoring it, recognize, don't make it be wrong, and find something. I just got a text message that says something about, oh my gosh, fat melting gummies. It's some spam text message that just came over.
Yeah, no, those don't work.
No, that is going to be an erase. Don't open, because I don't want that I paid attention to their stupid spam. But anyway, so
Yeah,
honor it and just give yourself options.
hmm
Don't make it be wrong, because there's nothing wrong. It
right,
just is.
yeah. Yep, I love it. Well, that's a great way to end it.
Just keep cooking
Yeah.
really good food, because I'm one of your fans.
We-
You'll be
Aw.
putting
Are you- oh,
something
Bev?
on, and I'm like, seriously? I'm like, how in the heck? And I'll text you, and I'm like, what did you do that? How do you do that? I'll try copying you, but I know it doesn't make it the same as Beverly.
Aw. It's just, I don't know. I've been cooking my whole life, I guess. So,
Yeah, but it looks really good.
and I actually love the food industry. Well, I take it back. I love cooking. I did not love the food industry. I didn't love aspects of the food industry. Otherwise, I would be working in the food industry because it's fun.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys. Oh, let's take a picture quick.
You give me the helmet.
Yeah, you should wear the helmet. That was awesome. There you go. I love it. All right, cheese.
Oh my God.
That is so cool. What is the helmet from?
So my son, Jacob, the sophomore, he was in a medieval Europe class. That's what he just took. And final project was, they all had to do this final project for medieval Europe before the end of the semester. And they were judged by, like, all of the projects were there. He actually played piano. So, but he recorded it and they watched that. But each of the kiddos did different things, and he got second place. The counselors came down, like the teacher has the counselors come down and look at everybody's projects and then give them prizes, first through third, and then like honorable mentions, creative, other things. But yeah, he got second place.
That's
That's
good.
awesome. Yeah.
Higher. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night. I'm gonna.
You
You
too.
too.
I'll see you
Yeah.
later. And I can't remember what Monday is. I think it's Monday mocktail. So be prepared to share. Be prepared to share your favorite mocktail. I think.
No,
Awesome.
meditation, I thought.
Oh,
I did-
meditation Monday. That's right, because it's a holiday. Meditation Monday. Okay, be prepared to meditate.
All right. We'll see ya.
All right, see you guys later.
Bye.